Hi, my name is Shane.
I'm Esther, and this is our story. On March 8th, 2014, my husband and I started our adoption for our first little girl from China.
Well, it was always going to be something we were going to do one day. And we talked about it ever since we got married. We wanted to do it someday, and just when was that day? We just kept putting it off, There wasn't really a specific event necessarily.
It would always be like, let's wait till we get this paid off, or let's wait till we get a better job, or let's wait for this. And
you're just always going to be waiting if you just are waiting for the next
There's
thing.
never a perfect time to start anything. The biggest step is to start now.
You say, well, yeah, finances is probably the biggest thing that held us back at the start, and even talking to other people, that seems to be the one factor that holds everyone back. And it's more, do you trust God enough to provide, is what it boils down to. And that was a hard lesson for us to learn, and it took a while, and you just have to take that step of faith and just trust God. We had been married 12 years when we first started, and it was just, we decided just to, let's do it. Let's just take the first step. And that's what it takes.
So I think we kind of, in the back of our minds, probably weren't thinking that, oh, we're going to adopt here in a year.
Yeah.
So, because we just started, we didn't exactly know what we were doing. So
we'd done some reading over the 12 years, off and on, nothing too much.
Yeah, we sent out for different applications to different agencies, because that's probably one of the hardest things when you go to adopt. It's where do you start?
Yep.
And so we thought the first place to start was to find out what agency. About several months into the adoption process, we were matched with a little 16-month-old girl with some special needs, and it was about a year-long process to bring her home. But one of the scary things was the finances, and that was one of the things that kind of held us back for adoption all along, was the amount of money that it took to adopt. And one day, the day before we traveled, we were 100% funded, and so God just fully took care of the provisions for that adoption. And
He took care of the provisions many different ways, through extra jobs, doing things on the side. We had family and friends would donate money. We had churches we didn't even know about would donate money towards it, and even complete strangers would donate large amounts of money that we didn't know, had never even met, that they wanted to help bring home an orphan. So, well, on Gotcha Day, that's the day your child is handed into your arms. You have to get up early, you get on a bus, you go with your entire group, which varies in size, and other adoption agencies. You all travel to a government building, and you sit in the one large room and you just wait.
Very bare, it was pretty bright, but very loud.
Yep.
Lots of noises going on.
And you just sit and wait, and you sit and wait, and finally, you're looking out the door, waiting, and you see your child being carried to you, and you just get really excited.
It's exciting.
It's hard to describe the feelings you're going through that day, and then they bring you your child, and they have to make sure that you are the parent to this child, so they don't hand the child to you right away. So you're just
like,
trying to.
We want to hold her.
Yeah. So then they hand you your child, and then they kind of step back, all the government officials, and let you just be with your child for a few minutes. So then we just held Leanna, walked to the side, we sat down, and we just cuddled and just tried to.
There's a lot of noises going on in there, and I honestly think it felt like it was very quiet, even though it was very, very loud. When you look back at videos that we recorded, we're like, man, that was really, really loud, but it seemed like it was so quiet and so peaceful, and I think God just kind of maybe just kind of drown out that noise and just look at your little girl and bond with her, and saying I love you for the first time was pretty special. Yeah, and 3 months after we brought our little girl home, Leanna, I was looking on our agency's site and saw a 5-year-old little girl. We were not thinking about adopting again so soon, and I brought her face to my husband and said, hey, look at her face, she's so cute. and she needs a family. And we knew we weren't in the process or even able to adopt then and there. And so we started to pray for her family, that God would just provide a family for her. And so on our radar, we just thought there's another family out there for this little girl. And when was it? I said 3 months after. Yeah, 3 months after. And we kept seeing her face go further up the list on our agency site, and we knew that once it got to the top, her face is removed, and that might be her last chance for a family. So we just kept praying. We're like, we'll submit the paperwork and see if we can get her file. And it was about 2 months. Yeah. 2 months or 3 months, can't remember. And we had not heard a thing, but we kept going to the agency site and seeing her face still there. And we got an email just out of the blue one day. He checked our email, and they said, you have her file. Yep. So you have a chance to review. And so we only had just 72 hours to look over. We both parted ways, and we said, let's pray about this, and we'll come back together in the evening and we'll see kind of what God's telling us. So we both parted ways, and we both came back, and we both decided there was no reason not to push forward, because God had already opened doors to get her file, and we figured God could close those if she wasn't meant for our family. And again, it had been just a few months we've been home with our other little girl, so that was trying to get the finances that we needed again for another adoption. But we just knew that God, if this was for us, that He was going to provide.
Yep. He did it the first time, He can do it again.
Our 6-year-old little girl, she could not wait to be part of our family. And so when we were doing the paperwork, she had the biggest smile on her face and could not wait to make it official. Yep. And she just kind of slammed her hand down on that paper, and she's like, we are done. Yep. I am a black. And that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Good feeling.
Some people say that you have to be amazing to adopt, and that's not the case at all. We're not amazing, we're just normal people. God's amazing, that's why we adopted.
And you just have to have faith that if it's for your family, He's going to provide. And I think God looks for the willingness and obedience. And if you're willing, God, He's gonna work it all out for His glory.